And the reason I started looking is I thought, gosh, I want a mentor. I think it would be really nice to talk with someone, and I couldn't. And that was a very pivotal point for me of, oh, sweetheart, you're the mentor.
Yeah.
I become good friends with some of them, and they have said that was the most powerful experience
Wow.
ever. After people were getting a massage, sometimes they would get in car accidents out in the parking lot. And I'm like, I don't like this. What can I do? So that's
Hmm.
what led me to the hypnosis, so that I could look at you before you walk out my door and to know that you are back in your mind and body enough
Mm.
to really take care of yourself further outside of the work that we had just done.
What is up? If you're a coach, a service provider, or business owner, you are in the place to learn how to build your business. Welcome to LegendMaker Radio. I'm your host, Tanya Daka. This is where we build legends who rebuild the world through marketing, mindset, and messaging. And each week, I bring you the actionable steps, the inspiring stories, and the motivation you need to move your business forward quickly. Thanks so much for being here. I appreciate you and your time. Let's jump into this week's episode. Thank you so much for being here, Colleen Fletcher. I am so honored that you have come to join the LegendMaker halls. Tell us what you're up to in your business.
In business, you know, I mean, I do so many things, but to me, it all makes perfect sense because we're all individually one whole unit, right? So for
Yep.
me, it makes perfect sense. But really working on getting that message across to others in a meaningful, impactful way, and and supporting my clients. So it's constantly reworking in my head as
Is it?
well. Saying, yeah.
When you say we're the whole being, like elaborate on that a little bit. What does that mean for you?
So I have taken whole and turned it into whole. W is wellness. H is holistic health. O is oneness. L, if I can spell properly. L is love and life. And then E is enlightened equilibrium.
Love it.
So I pull all of that together in with everything that all of my licenses. So I have a bunch of different licenses, things that I've done for some of them, oh my gosh, not professionally, but personally for 50 years now. And then the others professionally has been 28, close to 29 years now.
Wow. Wow. You are definitely holding that legend status. Anybody that can hold that long in what they do, wow, it's amazing. It is amazing. So when
Thank
you
you.
say all of your certifications, what kind of certifications do you have?
Yep. So I am a massage therapist. I'm an esthetician. I am a hypnotist. I am a metaphysician, and I am an intuitive energy healer, and just basically an intuitive healer. I'm a Reiki master as well. So I combine all of that. And the one that is really the most different in that, you see a lot of people with similar type trainings, but it's the aesthetics. That's the biggest difference. We can talk
Yeah.
about how to heal your heart as wax in your nether regions.
I love it. I love it. My child wants to become an esthetician, and that's something that we've been looking into. So I've learned a lot about what it takes to get that license, and it's it's the real deal. So it's the real deal.
Yeah.
But you have a lot of certifications. So you have been in the learning field, I would say, like, for your life, because, some of us are just born learners, like that's
Yeah.
how we, I don't know, that's how we become, and not become, but it's how we find ourselves, right? Like we're
Mhm.
in our zone when we're learning. And I love that.
Yeah.
that also makes you an expert teacher because you are such an experienced student. So that's another differentiator that you have. It's not just about collecting certifications. It's about growth and how you've mastered all the areas that are like, wow. So that's very impressive. And I feel like when you say you're reworking like how you show up so you could like be that magnet, for the people that you can do the work for, but like your people are vast, like the people that you can serve, like literally span the spectrum. So I imagine it does make from from a marketing perspective, a little bit of a challenge in terms of, how do I get my message? How do I get my message across? So in this case, have you, like I'm seeing things and I can't see what I'm seeing. Like there are people that can present themselves as a brand. So like in this way, you are the brand. And so people from all over from all the niches or whatever that are struggling with that thing we just need to get them to find you. You know what I mean? Like your light just needs to go out further. I don't think it's necessarily that, So is it locally? I guess it would have to be locally that you do most of your work then. Obviously. No, you do online stuff too.
I do a lot. I do a huge amount online. If it's all right with you, I kind of want to address one of the things you mentioned about marketing and how that it's me and not having a brand.
Yeah.
Is that all right?
Sure.
Yeah. So, years ago, I listened to the experts that said, you have to have a business name. You have to have a business name. And I kept pushing against it saying, no, it's me. It's me. I want my name. Everyone said, nope, you will not make it. Well, I listened to the experts because they were, and I went against me, which is the bigger thing with it. And I am now back to, and I feel so good about Colleen Fletcher, Holistic Beauty, because it is me.
Yeah.
I am the one that shines from all of this. So I just wanted to, if that's really helpful for anyone listening to, if you really, really feel strongly with it, address it, talk with the experts. Yes, trust them. They do know what they're doing. But if it so goes against your grain, then you got to come to some type of balance with that. So I wanted to make sure that I got that in there to help people as well with trusting themselves also, because I'm thrilled now to just be using my name.
That's awesome. And you can think of Doreen Virtue. Doreen Virtue is just like that. Yes. Just her name, you don't have to fall into the traditional business advice in order for it to work. It sometimes is hard for people to imagine things that they don't understand working, but like you bring to the table, like the examples, like Doreen and all of that. So I am so glad that you found your path and what feels good, and it's holistic beauty, right?
Yeah. And it goes back to it spelled with a W.
Right.
Because of that one whole unit. Yeah.
So, okay. So whole -istic. Is that how you stylize it?
No, I pretty much do holistic beauty. Like that, but then separate out the whole and talk about it. It gives me some good lines really for what whole means and why I spell holistic the way I do.
If you had to pitch what you do to someone who doesn't get that, right? What is it that you say?
I'm a somatic wellness guide in all things holistic beauty.
Somatic wellness guide. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, so
Mhm.
that's cool. And when you are like, how do you find, or do people just find you? Do you ever reach out and offer to help people, or maybe cold pitch or whatever, or do you like people just come to you, they find you?
I'm not very good at cold pitching, so I don't cold pitch.
Good.
uh, I, and that's been the kind of the struggle for me, because
Mm-hmm.
I've done this before. I had a computer before anyone, you know, really
Mm-hmm.
had computers. I have done it a long time. I'm used to walking up to people and saying hi, and doing it that way. And I
Mm-hmm.
think you and I had a little brief conversation about, well, duh, it's the same thing online. You're just doing it in a different format,
Yeah.
which was just, you know how you know it, but it takes, that's where the expert like you comes into play of, you silly girl, just look at it this way.
Yeah, just like, and that's one of the things, like I was just
Yeah.
talking with another guest, and it was like, cold pitching and DMs and all that. Like I just say hello. I just say hello. Like, I don't care what their business is. I'm not going to go and try and sell them copywriting or sell them coaching or whatever. Just go say hi. And through your getting to know people, they just automatically get to know Colleen, and that, hey, she can do Reiki, she can do massage, she has oils and all the things. So what like, massage is physical. But you do somatic healing. Somatic healing can be done on, they learn online. Do you have a course that they learn from, or how does that work?
So I have a couple different courses. The main one that I have right now, which houses most of that information of my, I call them trainings, is my membership program. And that's where I have it all nicely organized. So if you want to go for a Reiki session, you just click right here. If
Mm-hmm.
you want, I think I have 3 sessions up now for chakra balancing. So I
Mm-hmm.
have those, then I have meditations, then I have skincare. I'm working a lot right now on just little pieces of little tips on how to use a jade roller, how to sit in front of the mirror when you're putting on your skincare and your makeup, and just doing things like
I
this,
need to do that.
because your face feels like, or people think it's falling, and,
Mm.
working with the musculature. So the membership program is probably the best, the best way to get the long versions
Mm-hmm.
of, on social media. I put the shorter versions of what
Mm-hmm.
all of those, and then the long versions are all up there. I have a lot of content in that membership
I bet
program.
you do. I bet you
A
do.
lot of content. And what's frightening, I have even more stuck on my computer that I'm trying to find to get up there as well.
That is awesome. So they can, so when in your membership, do you do coaching, or it's just content? They just go in there and they have access to all the things.
Yeah, this one is more just content.
Okay.
If people want to work with me on an individual basis, whether it's online or in person, then that's the part of the business where I call it my hands-on type of stuff.
Yeah.
And you need to reach out to me, and we find times to work
I
together.
gotcha. And so,
Yep.
like, in the like, how do you maintain sort of the relationship, I guess, with your members? Do you ever, is it in a group or is it a forum? How does that, like,
Like with the in the
or is
membership program,
Kajabi? Yeah, or is it like in Kajabi or something?
I have that on Thinkific.
Thinkific, which is kind of
I
like Kajabi.
liked
So it's like,
how, yeah, I liked how it was, how I could easily organize everything to make it really easy for you, because I
right.
do realize I have so much content. It's
Mm-hmm.
hard for people to know where it is. And I looked at Patreon, but it's only like one long feed and you lose it. And I'm like, no, I don't
No, we're
want
not
that.
doing
I want to
that.
make it as easy on the consumers as possible. So you buy it, it comes out of your account monthly, you retain access, and you can get new content and you can go back there anytime you want. You could watch the same one 100 times.
Cool.
Which
And
I think it makes it easy for you.
yeah, so you like have a Colleen in your back pocket without having Colleen in your back pocket. That's very cool.
One person one time called me a pocket guru. And I don't really like to be called a guru, but that one
that was funny
because it's cute. It's super cute. So I'm a pocket guru. Yeah,
that's awesome. And how much is it to join your membership each month?
It's $12 a month.
Wow! Literal no brainer.
I keep it super affordable for people. Super affordable.
Do you ever have people who like are concerned that if they go in and they like access the Reiki or something, like they can't do it on themselves? Can they do it on themselves? Can you how does that work?
Well, one of the things I do is, since I'm a Reiki master, I can train you on how to use Reiki and how to do it. So if you are trained in Reiki, whether it's from me or from someone else, then yes, you can do it on yourself. The way I have them set up with this is you don't have to know anything about it at all, other than you can either lie down or sit down, and you know, just like we are right now, you can just sit down and watch the video and do it.
Okay, so it's kind of like having a some sort. Okay, so it's basically you're walking them through, hey, liquid death. I love it.
Yes,
I love liquid
mango.
Death. Now I cannot do the mango, but I do love the sparkling lime. I think I don't remember what it's called, but so when they watch the video, if they have no experience, they will still feel the shift or whatever that they're looking for from their session, right?
Yeah. Unless you have such a huge critical factor, which is your consciousness that goes, this is stupid, I'm out. Then no matter what I do,
it's not going to work. Video or live, it won't work.
Yeah, even if you were here with me and I could physically touch you, if you don't like that and you still have that critical factor, you're gone.
Done.
That's it. So I hope that answers that question well enough.
Yeah. So you don't have to be a Reiki master for it to work. So that's really cool. That's because I was thinking, you know, maybe that like somebody going in who doesn't really understand how this stuff works, maybe they would be like, well, I don't know how to do this. So that's awesome. And I feel like, and I think I've always felt like this with your stuff, is that and your WHOLE description of what you do is very accurate and very on point. And I feel like I know what I was going to say. It's mind, body, and spirit, like literally in what you do. So, is there anybody in your industry that like, do you think I feel like you're the only one that I know that does this? And I know so many coaches, like coaches are my clients. So I understand and I see, and I don't think I've ever come across somebody who does things the way you do.
I've never seen anyone. I did a really deep dive in it a few years ago, and I found someone that had similar, but not exactly. And I think they were in Paris.
Oh, wow.
And the reason I started looking is I thought, gosh, I want a mentor. I think it would be really nice to talk with someone, and I couldn't. And that was a very pivotal point for me of, oh, sweetheart, you're the mentor.
There you are. There you are.
And so I really looked a lot. I'm like, am I okay with this? And I went, yeah, I'm changing my damn name. I'm going with Colleen Fletcher. This is who and what I am. Absolutely. This is it.
I love it.
I am the mentor.
Talk about living your legend, owning your legend. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So do
Yeah.
you,
But it really stemmed from me looking for help, but
what,
couldn't get it.
why don't, or have you thought about like, I don't know, accrediting your process or something and like training people to do what you do in all of the things? I guess you couldn't do the esthetician license.
It's,
Sure.
so to a certain degree, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, what I'm telling people right now, because I do have a lot of people that ask, they want to do that.
Oh yeah.
So I'm
Good.
telling them they have to go and get a massage license. They have to go and get the aesthetics license. If they're here, or even if they are online, I can guide them in it, but you have to get those licenses from your state anyway.
Yeah.
I am not in a position. I want to start schools for each one of those. That's way far up here.
Yeah.
The rest of it, yeah, I train people in Reiki all the time with that. And the way I do the trainings is they are either private or semi-private, and you kind of pick a theme. Like I had someone that her theme, she wanted to connect with nature more. So she sent me a point on a map in the Oregon hills, in the mountains, and I drove that will be the furthest that I will drive. I mean, I have other options with it, but I drove for 2.5 hours into the mountains, and we immersed ourselves in nature.
Wow.
And that's how she got her training. I have 2 people now that we're just looking for dates to do it, and they're real estate agents. And they want to be able to go in with every step of selling a home and buying a home, and having Reiki attached to every part of that, so it's smooth and easy to do. Another person, every food, she prepares natural, healthy foods. Every step of that, with every meal that goes out, has Reiki with it.
Wow, that's awesome.
So that's how I do it. So yes, some of it I can do, some of it is, that there are laws above me.
No, they go get they go fulfill their prerequisite education, and then you're the next level. I'm going to teach you how to take all of that and blend it together and to be, but and two, like, I feel like it would be really, like, when you do that, if they become whole practitioners, holistic beauty practitioners, that would be really, really like mind-blowing. But anyway, one day.
It is. I have one person starting the process right now.
Oh, cool. Okay, so we're going to see Colleen Fletcher disciples popping up all over the internet.
Yeah,
I love it. So with the legend that you are building, because I know that you have a very deep passion that runs in not only metal music, which we connected over, but also in nature. Like, how does this work impact us on a natural nature level? Like,
well, the best thing that I have for that is a couple years ago, I went to Fire in the Mountains. I was a presenter there, which I don't know if you know about that festival at all.
I don't.
It's a festival it's a metal fest that was in just outside of Jackson Hole in the Tetons. And I mean, we're talking a metal festival, right? There's some alcohol and some other things being ingested. I still had, on average, for the 2 mornings that I presented and that I did meditations to metal music, I had 30 to 35 people there, which I think is
wow,
really high. They felt the owners of it thought, oh, whoa, that's a lot of people that have been partying their asses off all night long to turn up.
Yeah.
become good friends with some of them. And they have said that was the most powerful experience ever, because number one, because of where we were, the Tetons are, if you haven't been to the Tetons, man, and do both sides, go to the Idaho
completely
side
different,
of the Tetons. That's where the comment, whether you believe in this or not, but it's God's country, man. It is stunning.
Wow.
So you've got that, you're immersed in nature. You've got this music it's that deep resonance as well. And I pair the music to what I'm teaching with it as well. It is way powerful. It's almost a hard one to describe of how powerful, but you get that beat within your body, and
there you go, really trance state.
Yeah,
you can get into that trance state. Yeah. Now, did you get into the pits at Firefest?
I tend not to. I'm short. And years ago, I was almost crushed at a concert. And if it were not for someone yanking me by my hair up and out, and I'm not afraid around tall people because I'm so short. I'm just, 5'1". So I'm not afraid of it. I just don't like it.
It's just danger.
Yeah. People push down on me all the time, and I just don't like that. So
yeah. I don't know. The pits are, I've not been in that many. I've been in a few, and I did really love it too much. So, and I ate dirt so many times. I came out with bloody nose, bloody lip, all the things. And it's put me back in it. But I think part of that was because every time I went down, there was somebody pulling me back up. And that was, it's really that's a really powerful aspect of, the metal community, is you don't let people down.
It's huge.
So, and people don't get that. People don't know that. But so yeah, with the Tetons and all of that, I bet it really was a powerful experience. So that was really cool that you had 30 35 people go through that. So awesome. Are you familiar with Black yoga at all?
Yeah.
Have you done that? Have you experienced it at all?
I have not yet. I don't think there's anyone around here that does it. But I'd certainly be open to it. Same type of deal, I think.
Yeah, that's what I was, because I was envisioning that came to mind when you said, you play the metal music, and I was like, oh, that sounds like Black yoga. That would be really cool. I got one of their album or soundtracks, I guess, and it's really it's moving. I haven't done yoga to it because I don't know how to do yoga, and I wouldn't even know what a yoga pose is. So, but I listened to the music, and it was very resonant. So cool.
Yeah.
And
I have 3 of the meditations is what I call that. They're up on Spotify.
Oh, cool. Okay, so you have a channel on Spotify? Awesome. Yeah. Okay, so you'll have to put that link or send me that link so I can put it in the show notes, or in the description rather, not the show notes.
Yeah.
But and also you have a group too where you do it's not the meditations, it's the forest. What are we doing in that forest?
You, me, and the trees.
Yeah, you, me, and the trees. Okay, because I see you in the group, and then there you go. And so, do you find that there's any energetic difference when you are doing a meditation or when you are with immersing in nature? Is there any difference?
The big answer is no, because it's all energy. Yeah, energy is energy. We're the ones that attach human emotion or anything else to it. Do I think that sometimes there are darker negative types of energies? Yeah, but that's a whole separate thing. So we're going to leave that over there for right now. And the smaller answer with that is yes, I do find that people feel there is a big difference with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great question and a harder one really to define, because for me, I've been meditating since I was 5 years old. That puts it at
Wow.
1973. And I can say a bad word in here. I probably already have. And
Absolutely, you
right?
can.
I sure as shit did not have an internet connection where I could take my phone and listen to music out in the wilderness. No fucking way was that ever going to happen, right?
Right.
So I can meditate in silence,
Mm-hmm.
what most people nowadays perceive as silence. But what I hear are the bugs crawling around and
Nice.
the wind blowing through the leaves. So for me, that's really powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoy that, but
Mm-hmm.
most people can't. And so that's one of the things that I've still had to learn to pivot of, okay, I don't like it this way, but I want to help people get into it.
Right.
So I noticed the differences with it, with what you're saying, with the music versus quote not having music, and it's individual as well. It's so individual for each person. And some people are semi-okay with silence, but most people can't hack it, and then they close down their energetics. They're like, am I doing this?
I don't think I even know what silence was. If you put me out in the woods, it would still be very loud up here. So I don't even think that I could even sit in what is supposed to be silence and experience silence. But in terms of like what I feel like if I haven't done like meditation per se in either kind of scenario, but like with the energy that comes through me with metal music, like it's such a deep empowerment. But yeah, like when you're just outside walking barefoot in the grass, even if you're not sitting still or whatever, like the energy of that space just feels so I guess the term would be more nurturing than empowering. Like they're probably similar, but I don't know. It's a more calm emotion.
Maybe. It's very individual though.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I go out into nature and that's where I yell and scream more than at a metal show.
Yeah.
And
that's cool.
There's a lot to do with that as well. So I from my perspective, personally, I can't say that there's much of a difference. What I have noticed professionally is once people again get beyond that conscious, that critical factor, they can pull the same stuff. You know, if you resonate more with release with metal music, then by all means do that one.
Do it. Yeah.
If you want to experience different situations with it, then try and get that muscle memory from what you get with a metal show. You know, so let's say that you feel your shoulders are releasing with it by your banging your head. Most people don't physically, but you know, that type of thing. Then get that muscle memory. Take just a couple breaths of, oh, this is what my body feels like in that situation. And then mimic that next time you're out in nature.
Yeah.
You know, something like that. That's the easiest way to bring those things together, is just to get that muscle memory for yourself.
There's a lot stored in our muscle memory things. I do want to ask you though, I wanted to ask you, like, what brought you, okay, like you got obviously to where you are from somewhere, but what did you say consciously to yourself, I just want to have all these certifications, and like, or was it just like, I got this certification, this is awesome, you know, I want to follow this passion now, and so I'm going to get this certification also. Like, how did you get here?
First and foremost, I knew I was going to be a single mom and that I was getting a divorce and that type of thing. And I knew I needed to have something that I could get pretty quickly to support, myself and my kid.
Mm-hmm.
So that was massage. That was the first license that I jumped into. The rest of it, it just makes so much sense to me to look at your body as one whole thing. I couldn't do what everyone says, just niche down. I'm like, no, it was torture for me to think of it that way.
Mm-hmm.
So I just kept going, okay, well, what's the next logical step with this? After doing massage is the one that I had a very long time just on its own. But even with that, I branched out with the continuing ed. And I had a friend that wanted to take a hypnosis training. And it was a longer training. It wasn't like the weekend warrior type one.
It was a real training.
It was and we got old school training that basically, so in the US, people used to only be taught this if you were a dentist or a surgeon.
Wow.
So I got that type of knowledge with it. And so after people were getting a massage, sometimes they would get in car accidents out in the parking lot. And I'm like, I don't like this. What can I do? So that's what led me to the hypnosis, so that I could look at you before you walk out my door and to know that you are back in your mind and body enough to really take care of yourself further outside of the work that we had just done.
So you did that training as a protection, a layer of protection, not to like help people lose weight or stop smoking or whatever the typical cessation things are. So you did it, like, what made you realize that hypnosis was the thing that would help you understand they were back in their bodies?
Yeah, it was the look in their eyes with it. And I have to jump into, I got all my Reiki training next. It was, I made a mistake there. It was massage, Reiki, then hypnosis. And I think since I had all the energy work stuff behind me as well, and I am one of those I naturally can do things like that. I tend to get the licenses so that
just so you can say,
yeah, but I'm naturally that way. So I learned how to use my natural gifts with it. And I knew there was something off, but I couldn't piece it all together yet. And so that's the part of it that really pieced that together of, ooh, that's what's going on in their eyes. They are, here instead of this conscious part. Make sure that they are back in their conscious part for that. So
that's mind blowing. I'm like, I cannot even imagine putting those two things together and like being like, oh yeah, I need to know what part of their brain they're thinking with. Hypnosis is going to be because when you think of hypnosis, you don't think of like, I don't think of that. I think of like, you're getting sleepy. You're getting very sleepy. Yeah. When you wake up, you're going to be a bat. Right. So
no, I don't do that. Now, I do have the training for weight loss and all that kind of stuff. I don't do a huge amount of it that way. For me, I use a lot of it with some of my other services, like my chakra balancing sessions. We go in and do hypnosis. A lot of my meditations, they are not hypnosis sessions. But the idea behind it, I realize I'm getting people into a different state of mind. And I want to be cautious with that. I want to be more empowering with that for them. I want to know what I'm doing.
Right.
And to help them. If you've ever done the You, Me, and the Trees or any of my meditations, I start my meditations with a letting go of the outside world. And that is, it sounds like what it is. We're shutting this stuff off, turning this stuff down, but it really stemmed from knowing how to compound people to go from one level of where their brain is to that next level of calming, soothing, and not just boom, boom. Let's just
Right.
ease into and get
Right.
here. And then when you get into the meditation, far
Right.
more.
You're in it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
chilled
you're
out.
not, yeah, that
Yep.
makes sense. Now it's like, it's probably a more nurturing approach rather than just saying, hey, 1, 2, 3, like, because it feels like if you listen to a lot of meditations, that it should be something that takes longer to get through, because this is like on, and it's like stays on. And so it's not a matter of like, I'm just going to start envisioning a pink elephant and no longer this is not on anymore. And then I can think about this other stuff. So I like this approach. It's very cool.
Yeah.
And we have what we call the LegendMaker. Hold on. Yes, the LegendMaker Spotlight. I was trying to think if I had one more question I wanted to ask you. And here at LegendMaker Global, it's like we're helping business owners build their world so that we can go out beyond that and change the world. So we like to support projects and gigs and people and things that are doing things like ocean restoration, soil regeneration, and trying to kind of repair. Not that it's possible, but that's another logistic for another time. But to try and course correct, maybe that's a better phrase, for the damage that we do on the daily. Excuse me, sir. Please get down. And so I wanted to ask you, do you have something like that you would like to bring awareness to, where we can let the Legend Maker audience find and support something new?
Yeah, the big one that has stemmed really from my knowledge of being a massage therapist for so long, and the underbelly of that. And anymore, I call it the ugly thing that it is, and it's modern day slavery. It's absolutely slavery. It has sex trade attached to it now, but a lot of places, massage really pulls in a huge amount of sex trade.
Okay, yeah.
And it's pretty gross.
Yeah.
It's really gross.
Yeah.
So my thing has always been much more so because of the massage aspect with it. So it's raising awareness with that. It's not just that, oh my gosh, I'm going to go to the back alley massage place and get a happy ending. Well, a lot of times that's slavery.
Right.
And slavery is, it's defined as anyone that is somewhere doing something, not even just against their will, but even coerced into something like that. So that's always been my bigger focus, but really it is against slavery in general.
So I want to ask about that, because that's a very, very highly charged word, and for, very good reason. And I'm a proponent of understanding the other side, not the other side, understanding the people who have been oppressed by that in the traditional sense. And because it's a word we don't even say that, because we can't relate to the horror that the Black community has been faced with. And so when we say modern day slavery, it feels a little bit confrontational, not confrontational, but it's like it pulls something away from the Black community. And I want to, can you address the use of that? I understand that it's them being coerced, but it's not them being, beaten and tortured. And
so a huge amount of that, from my perspective, and why I look at it that way, is much more on a global thing. Absolutely 100% not taken away anything of the atrocities that have happened in this country. There's this one organizations that I've followed and just been aware of for years, and it's half the sky.
Mm-hmm.
Half the sky, part of it's night, part of it's day, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So half the sky works a lot with women that have been either sex trade, any of those. And the other really big one to look out for with it too is anyone that goes cleaning. I can't think of the appropriate word right now. Cleaning ladies. I can't think of that. So from my perspective, since I work globally and I am a global thinker with that's where, and that's the term that I see used all the time. Mm-hmm. With that on a grand scale of it. Again, not to detract at all or to take away or anything with what happened in this country at all. But that's where that came from.
Gotcha.
For sure.
Gotcha.
It's a global level with it.
Okay. So, and you have the information. We have the information that we're going to be putting in the show description for people to find your information about that, and that's definitely a huge problem. And I live in an area where that is, like, we're known for that thing here, and my kids don't understand why I don't let them go places by themselves. You will understand when you're older and you see the things I've seen. So. I appreciate your bringing awareness to that. Hopefully the audience will be able to find all of that and take into consideration whatever, support they can offer for that. And in the meantime, I want to thank you so much for being here. It has been a truly enlightening experience. Like I completely had forgotten about your WHOLE an acronym. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
And it's amazing to see that, there are practitioners, or there's not, and maybe there will be more practitioners like you who are taking the entire body, mind, and spirit into the same, consideration, the same house and all of that. So thank you so much for bringing your expertise and your legend to the LegendMaker Hall this morning. And thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. This was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed connecting with you this way, Tanya. This is great.
Same. Thank you. And that's a wrap on this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please feel free to like, share, subscribe, comment, do all the things. Leave me a review so we can help this show get out to other legend makers just like you. And if you're a coach or a service provider who hates writing emails and sales pages and social posts because they're just not making you the money that you want to make, then go to legendmakercopy.com/copy course and check out Cash In. I've written a very special course just for coaches to teach you how to write just the things you need to learn how to write, not to teach you the whole trade of copywriting, but to give you the tools that you need to write the higher profits that you want in your business. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next week.